Alright. Hey guys, it's me, Little Squonker, and I just took a shower, and I feel so good. And I'm also gonna see Panic at the Disco today with Weezer, and I am so excited because I haven't listened to Weezer since they performed on the Muppets, so I'm kind of a bit behind. So anyway, I thought I created the Panic at the Disco book tag because I saw no one else do it, and then when I was researching it, I was like, oh crap, somebody else did. And so she does hers differently. I'm gonna do mine the way I had it planned before I read the book. So yeah, I will also link down her video of her version of the book tag if you want to do it. But I commented already, I did the book tag differently. And yeah, so let's get started. The way I'm doing my Panic at the Disco book tag is I am picking 2 songs from each of their 5 albums, not including the live version of their album that they did in Chicago years ago. I wasn't there. So yeah, let's get started. So the first album we're gonna start from the newest to their oldest, and the first album is Death of a Bachelor. So I picked The Impossible Year, and I related it to Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, and at the end of this sad book, Eleanor decides to go up to live with her relatives, her other relatives, not her mom and dad, because of what's happening in her household, and Park is just really sad about it, and he is looking back on the years that they had together, or the year that they had together, and yeah, Park never knew that he was gonna meet Eleanor and fall in love with her, and so I thought it was really sad, and I thought it related good to The Impossible Year, so yeah. The next book I have is Crazy Equals Genius, and I decided to put it to The Evolution of Calpurnia Tate by Jaqueline Kelly, and the reason why I linked it to Crazy Equals Genius because this is a historical fiction book, and it does set in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, it's like 1899, I think, in that book, and then it goes to 1900. And I link this to that song because she is a young female who wants to go into, like, the science part of STEM, and not a lot of females at that time want to go into that study, and so people think it's crazy, but she thinks it's genius, so I also did read this book, like, when it first came out, I think, so my memory on this book is a little hazy. The next album I have is Too Rare, or no, shoot, I already forgot the album name, Too Young to Live, Too Rare to Die. There we go, it's on my shirt. Yeah. I don't know why I, like, blanked out on it. Anyway, so the song I picked for the 2 songs I picked is Far Too Young to Die, personally one of my favorite songs on the album. And a lot of people would think I will pick The Fault in Our Stars in this one, but I picked Me Before You, my Jojo Moyes. And the reason why I picked Me Before You is because Louisa is trying to persuade Will Traynor, who is right here, to live, even though he's, like, at the peak of his life, and, like, he did everything, and now he cannot walk and use one arm, but he can only use, like, the left arm, I think, and he wants to die because of that, and he doesn't feel like he should live anymore, and Louisa is trying her best to persuade her, and she thinks she had it, but he still said no, and he's going to die in Switzerland peacefully. And so I think it's kind of a young age, because you're at the peak of your life and you start doing everything. And so this book, this book. The next song I picked is This Is Gospel, and another one of my favorite songs on that album. And I picked Where She Went by Gayle Forman. If you read the first book, you would know that Adam said, if you stay, I leave. If you leave, if you stay, I leave. If you leave, I stay. And so, obviously she lived. Spoiler alert. And so he left to go do his thing, and basically he's trying to, like, live through his life, trying to forget Mia, but at the same time he kept meeting her up, and it's really cute how they got back together, so I really recommend reading this. The next album is Vices and Virtues, personally my favorite album out of the 5, and so the first one we have is Ballad of Mona Lisa, and I picked Struck by Lightning by Colfer, and I do have the signed edition, and I love it so much. Look at it! There you go. Look at it! And, this is about a boy, and Colfer plays him in the movie. That's how I found out about the book. And he gets struck by lightning, obviously, and then in the end of the book, people start, remembering who he is and what he did, and that's kind of also the basic point of Ballad of Mona Lisa, and, they start to remember her once they did the funeral, and it was like a who did it in this case, like who murdered Mona Lisa, but obviously lightning killed poor little Carson, so, yeah. I still haven't read that book, and I feel so sad. The next one I have is Let's Kill Tonight, and I have The Fifth Wave by Yancey, and yeah, I really have no explanation for this book. If you've seen the movie or read the book, you would know why I picked this book for Let's Kill Tonight. The next album we have is their second to last album, and it is pretty odd, and that's when they had, like, their Beatles experiment thing, because they were experimenting with their style of music, and one of the songs I picked is Northern Downpour, and I'm pretty sure Brennan hates that song, and I write Since Not Tragedies. And I picked Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, and I picked Northern Downpour for this one because, I think that with their love, and when they did the balcony scene, it is a perfect example of, hey moon, don't forget to come down because I really want to meet this person again, and then everybody knows the plot from there. The next song I have is She's a Handsome Woman, and I picked When We Collided by Emery, and this is the advanced reader copy edition, courtesy of Anderson's Bookshop, and I picked this song because Vivi is trying to show Jonah that there's so much out there in the world, and you need to go out and see it, and grab your hat and fetch your camera, and I want to get that lyric tattooed on me somewhere, because I love that song so much, and I really love this book so much, so, yeah! And the last album we have is A Fever You Can't Sweat, or A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, there we go, and, I picked a book that was very unlikely, and we're gonna start with I Write Since Not Tragedies, and I picked The One. A lot of you people are gonna be like, why'd you pick The One? And I picked The One for a very valid reason. I picked The One because when you have the big party that's going on, I think, then all of a sudden, Celeste gets shot in the head, and then it's just like a shooting spree from there, and I picked Right Since Not Tragedies because of that very reason. And if you have not watched the music video, shame on you. And this book is a very good reason to pick it because it does resemble the music video a lot. And the last book I have that represents Panic at the Disco is Bill God Then We'll Talk, and is the very last song on the album. And I picked Me and Earl and a Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews, and I picked this book because of that song, and that song with the music video is very weird. So I picked this book because there is one scene in there where these two guys get incredibly high accidentally, and they are experiencing everything, like, it's crazy and it's weird, and then they go meet up with their cancer friend. And it's pretty funny to watch. So, yeah, that is my Panic at the Disco book tag. I did pretty differently than the user who created it. I'm sorry. I didn't know you created the book tag, so I did it differently. I'm so sorry. Yeah, go subscribe to my channel. Go subscribe to her channel because her channel is amazing as well. And I will link her channel down below and her Panic at the Disco book tag as well down below. And I will link all their music videos or all their songs I have mentioned, and I will also link down the reviews I also did for these books as well in the description. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and I shall have my selection recap video up by tomorrow. And yeah, subscribe and like. So yeah.